Okay, in this video we're going to have a look at displacement reactions and reactivity of halogens. If you want to understand why the halogens are different reactivity, then please watch the video that helps you to explain that. But in this video we're going to look at the reactions and work out some of the products and the equations that represent those reactions. So if we look at a displacement table for this, here is a list of all the reactions that we're going to be looking at. And you can see here we've got the halogens, and the halogens then reacting, in this case with the metal halide, to see this displacement reaction works. The table starts off with 3 green crosses because there's no point reacting chlorine with potassium chloride. There's no point in putting bromine into potassium bromide and iodine into potassium iodide. And the ticks are where it's reacted, and the crosses are where it's failed to react. So look at this first reaction here. We're taking chlorine and reacting with potassium iodide, and this reaction should work because in this case chlorine is more reactive than potassium iodide. So because this is going to work, the chlorine will displace the potassium iodide to push out the iodine separate to this. So this will form potassium chloride, and then the iodine is being displaced, pushed out from the compound. Okay, and that happens because, as I said, the chlorine is more reactive than the iodide ions inside here. Chlorine is diatomic, so it's Cl2, potassium iodide, potassium chloride is KCl, iodine is I2. This needs to be balanced, so we'll put a 2 in there and a 2 in there. Now because the iodine has been displaced, this will actually cause this solution to form a brown coloured solution, because the iodine that's been displaced will cause that brown colour to form. Let's look at another example. Here's chlorine with potassium bromide. Again, the chlorine is more reactive than the bromide ion, so it will displace the bromide ions to bromine. That will form potassium chloride, and then I'm going to have my bromine being displaced, pushed out. This is Cl2, KBr, KCl, and Br2. It needs to be balanced, so there's a 2 there and a 2 there. Again, because the bromine is being displaced, this will actually form an orange solution, so an orange coloured solution, to show you this reaction's worked. If we just look at one that isn't going to work, so here I've got my bromine with potassium chloride. In this reaction, the bromine is not as reactive as the chlorine, so they cannot displace the chlorine or the chloride from the potassium, so the chlorine isn't going to end up being displaced over here. So in this case, we would say that there is no reaction. And this means these reactions are explaining the observations that we see in the table at the top of the displacement reactions.